Welcome back, everyone. It is called Oakland Local, a nonprofit online news and community media hub that focuses on topics including food, development, and social justice issues in the East Bay city of Oakland. And here to tell us more about this unique site is one of the founders and a media professional who is an Oakland local herself, Susan Mernit. Thanks so much for joining us today. Now, describe Oakland Local.
Oakland Local's a news and community site that takes a pretty unique approach because we combine reported stories by professional writers, some of them ex-professionals from places like the Trib or the Mercury News, with stories from community members.
Where did you get this idea? You're one of the ones that founded it.
I'd always felt, since I first moved to California, that there was a media vacuum in Oakland, that the diversity of voices and the range of people who live there didn't really have anything that reflected them.
Talk about some of the social justice issues and some of the topics that you cover. When I looked at your website, it just was a wonderful cornucopia of ideas, where to forage for food, or where to get involved in this particular project, or arts and education.
Well, what we did is we actually looked at a lot of the people in Oakland and what were underserved communities and underserved issues. So we've really based a lot of our coverage around feedback from the community. So on one hand, we cover things like the gang injunctions, which are a very complicated issue with many, many viewpoints about what should be done. Or things like the trial of Johannes Messerle, again, very complicated issue. But then there are things that people really want to know about, like Oakland's huge push to get access to healthy food, all of the push for community markets, urban gardens. That's not very well covered in a lot of the media. Or the bike culture that's emerging, biking to work, bike transportation, or the queer community, the huge number of people with alternative sexualities who really had no voice. So part of our coverage has evolved by connecting with different communities and realizing that we could really bring these stories forward to serve not only them, but really everybody who was interested in what was happening in Oakland.
You live in Oakland. What was the most surprising thing you found when you began this website about your own community?
How diverse it was. 170 different languages are spoken in Oakland, and we've done pieces with the Eritreans, the Ethiopians, the Laotians, the Hmong, the Vietnamese. There's so many different communities, and there's so much going on in all of them that I wish we had more time and more money to cover everything.
You talk about professionals who work here, but really you invite the community to be a part of this. How do they get involved?
Well, we're a mission-driven organization. That's why we're a nonprofit. And we offer all kinds of training and meetups to help people who want to contribute learn how to publish online and get the word out. We think that that's a big part of the
Tell me about this training. It sounds really interesting.
Well, we're doing some this week, over the next 3 weeks, that the California Endowment is supporting through a grant that's focused on food justice and allies access to healthy food. And we're offering sets of classes that are very low cost, $5 for materials per class, free for anyone who can't afford that, to learn how to tell your story on the web, how to publish online, how to use social media, Facebook and Twitter. And we invite them to publish on Oakland Local, but then also to publish back on their own sites. And that's really helped create an explosion of a lot of social media with a lot of the nonprofit groups in Oakland.
And it really doesn't matter age, ethnicity, whatever, if you're interested in becoming part of the Oakland community, how would they get involved? Taking a class?
Contact editor at oaklandlocal.com. We always welcome new contributors, and our contributors are between 18 and 70, really from all over the city. And it's been very exciting because there are so many voices, so many people who really have something to say.
And you're right, it's telling a lot of the stories that we say as a television organization or newspapers, can't tell. Either we don't have the funding or don't have the time to tell. How do people help funding-wise, since you are a nonprofit, and how do we help people get their stories out there?
Advertise on Oakland Local. Give us money as individual donators. We are in our second year, and actually the big push now is towards sustainability. We can't rely just on grants to keep afloat and to pay our writers. I work as a volunteer. I actually have another job. I don't pay myself. So this is really the moment, just like public television, when it's time to really support Oakland Local if you want to see it flourish.
Can you think of one time or one story online that where you said, you know what I'm doing is important. This is right.
For me, covering the Measurely trial was an incredible watermark. We had people who were actually in the crowd when the police started pushing the community together and cordoning off an area, and there was a lot of panic. We actually had people, videographers, taping it, and we really had one of the few records of what was actually happening, because so much of the press had already been pushed out. And I just felt incredibly proud of this young woman, Oriana Bolden, and her bravery in shooting that for us. And it was great.
You helped her tell her story.
Yeah.
All right, Susan, thanks very much. Susan Mernit, one of the founders of Oakland Local. And for more information on how to get involved with Oakland Local, you can log on to oaklandlocal.com. Coming up, do you want to know the key to life, love, and energy in your relationship? Well, our next guest has the answers as we continue May Sunday after this.
You're ticketed, towed, and forced to pay hundreds to reclaim your car. Then discover it's damaged.